Louisiana. I mean, there's what their depth chart looks like. McCardle, they got in a trade from Baltimore. Willie Jackson, Terrence Warren, Desmond Howard. He's an unrestricted free agent, only 26 catches. I'd be surprised. Yeah, see you out of here. Jimmy Smith and Curtis Marsh. So, you know, Stepford Williams out of Louisiana. Now, here's a kid, played at Northeast Louisiana was a Division II school. They jumped up to Division I play. But the great thing about this young man is his play never dropped off. So he was able to compete at both levels. So you can't label the small college label on the kid. It's a good opportunity for Jacksonville to be able to take a wide receiver because they certainly need it. Like we said before, 5 plays last year over 30 yards. You need somebody to get up the field there.
All right, let's go out to St. Louis and see. I was excited when they told me that Hank Greenberg was going to help us with our coverage today with all the home runs. But it is Hank Goldberg, and now he's with Steve Ortmeyer, a pair of home run hitters. Hank?
Yeah, my last home run was in Little League, Boomer, but I think Steve Ortmeyer, who's the vice president of football operations here with the Rams, has hit a grand slam today with his 4 offensive picks. Let's talk first about Lawrence Phillips, and I know how excited you were about the prospect of getting him. Are you secure in where he is right now in terms of, you know, his citizenship and that sort of thing?
We're very secure with Lawrence Phillips. We feel that, in fact, he was the #1 player on our board. We've been very fortunate. The last 2 years, we drafted in the 6th spot. Last year, we got the #2 player on our board. This year, we got the #1 player on our board. I think that that part was masterfully handled today by John Shaw.
Well, you also wound up with a couple of second-round picks, and let's talk Kennison first. You said to me yesterday explosion was something that you were looking for. This a guy who can provide it?
We don't pick for need in the 1st round. We try to put speed and explosion on this football team, and this year it happened to be on the offensive side of the ball, so you see it a little more clearly and a little more defined than when you put it on the defensive side of the ball. But those were the 2 players that we targeted for the 6th and 13th picks, and somehow we got them.
Some people were surprised you'd go quarterback as early as you did. Also, a lot of talk about Randall Cunningham still out there. Is Cunningham, now that you have Banks, is he still a consideration at all?
We will step back and evaluate our quarterback situation, but by and large, we're happy with what we've done to this point. This young player that we took from Michigan State today, this is pretty much of an organizational decision that this is a quarterback for the future for us. We're going to work with this young fella, develop him in conjunction with the people that we have here, and we're very pleased that he's now around.
Now that you have an H-back, quickly, Steve, where does that leave Troy Drayton?
Troy Drayton is a tight end. This is a pure H-back, fullback in Ernie Conwell. We also took him because he has tremendous deep snap special teams ability for us. This was a little bit more of a need pick for us, the first one we really made on the day, and we expect him to be able to step in and play a lot of football for us in 1996.
Great job, Steve. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, back to Chris Berman in New York.
All right, Hank and Steve, thank you very large. Rounding out the 2nd round, and you mentioned that they may have hit a grand slam with their offensive picks. They also traded to Jerome Bettis. And so the St. Louis Rams, Lawrence Phillips, and more.
Easier. I'll be back in just a minute to tell you how you can get yours.
Now, secure your credit with a Visa Classic Secured Credit Card. If you earn at least $150 per week, are 18 years or older, have a valid Social Security number, and are not currently in bankruptcy, then you will be considered for approval.
Qualifying for a Visa Classic Card has never been easier. If you have a checking account, we can even take your application right over the phone. So call the number on your screen right now.
What is the NFL doing on ESPN and ESPN2 in the middle of April? Very important business. It's the NFL Draft from first pick to last. Complete coverage of all the draft day decisions and analysis on ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPNnet Sports Zone. Live remote broadcast from team headquarters and war rooms throughout the day continues tomorrow on ESPN starting at 11 a.m. and continuing on ESPN2 at 1. Continuous coverage on ESPNnet Sports Zone.
We're back at the NFL Draft. The last couple of picks, Jacksonville and Philadelphia. Now it's at the time of the day when I asked my producer, Jay Rothman, where was that you just told me to go? We're going to Sal. Let's go to Sal Paolantonio in Baltimore. Sal?
Hi, Chris. I just got off the phone with Jeff Lurie, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. He says they're going to take a safety with this pick, Brian Dawkins of Clemson, an honor roll student who they think can step in there for Greg Jackson and play some safety, probably a little free safety, maybe a little switch off with Mike George, a little strong safety, but he's the pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're very happy they got a tight end, too. Jason Dunn was a player from Eastern Kentucky that John Gruden was very high on. Jason Dunn was the only tight end to visit the Philadelphia Eagles at Veterans Stadium in this offseason. They didn't get Marco Battaglia, but they think they got a first-round pick in Jason Dunn in the second round, so it'll be Jason Dunn followed by Brian Dawkins. Let's go back to Chris Berman in New York.
All right, Sal, thank you. The pick before that, if indeed, and you just got off the phone, so we beat in the announcement there. The second to last pick in the second round went to Jacksonville. Well, okay, so it sounds like I heard that before. Brian Dawkins goes to Philadelphia. Michael Cheever, center from Georgia Tech, has gone to Jacksonville, and he's a guy that, frankly, they hope is an over Cheever as opposed to an under Cheever, the first center on the day.
Absolutely, Chris.
Is he an over Cheever, Mel?
He's a good football player, Chris. This is a pretty good year for centers. You got Casey Wiegman from Iowa, Stoltenberg from Colorado. But if you watch Michael Cheever, very experienced player, set all the strength records at Georgia Tech, but he still displays pretty good flexibility and ease of motion for a big man. I mean, this is a guy that bench presses 465 pounds, did 35 reps, clocked a 4.83, and has a 34 vertical. So physically, you're looking at a guy that was also a productive 4-year starter, quality player, veteran. He should be able to anchor a Jacksonville line for 10 years. This is a neat area. Dave Waddell's a guy, kind of a stopgap measure. This is a guy they plan to have around with the Searcy's and the Basellis and the DeMarcos for a long, long time.
All right, you know what? The cheering is not because, you know, there was the 61st pick necessarily, but now on the clock in the third round of the New York Jets. Now, a lot of the fans that were here in the beginning are not here, but I'm going to get up, which, by the way, with this leg and knee, is a very good idea to do. And now we want everybody left here to help us out. Ready? J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Come on, a Jets cheer. Ready? 1, 2, 3. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Well, that's what we call inciting the natives. See, anything goes on the deuce. I kind of like this station. Call your cable operator now. We'll return with the Jets' third-round pick. And we'll see what, you know, we'll see what we can come up with New York. Probably not on the wide receiver.
What is that?
It's pate.
Are you sure?
It's like a dip pate thing.
Yeah, but what is it? Is it chicken?
It's salmon.
Salmon, but it looks like chicken.
It's salmon.
It's not flaky enough.
It's been, you know, minced or something.
Yeah, well, what if it's liver?
You mean foie gras?
Yeah, whatever.
Trust me, it's salmon.
How do you know?
It's pink.
Salmon doesn't always have to be pink.
How do you keep up with everything that happens in the NHL every day? You keep your eye on us. NHL Tonight, the ultimate half-hour wrap-up of the day that was in the NHL. Tonight at 11:30, only on ESPN2.
Well, we're underway in the third round, where all the picks from here on out are now 5 minutes. The Jets are up first. The remaining crowd knows that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is left. They know that Wilt Chamberlain is also left, but Jabbar is a big-name player, Mel, that may be selected, but they've gone wide receiver 1 and 2, Keyshawn Johnson and Alex Van Dyke. Let's go to the podium and see if they do running back.
Well, you know, they gave Morrell a 4-year contract, so
New York
but still.
Jets third-round selection, Ray Mickens, defensive back from Texas A&M. Ray Mickens, defensive back from Texas A&M. Jacksonville is on the clock.
Well, now this is interesting, huh? They get a good value here. Now, they also have a a smaller corner in Aaron Glenn.
Well, I'll tell you, this is like you say, you can't pass up for Ray Mickens. I don't care how small he is.